Well, I think we've worn out See You Later, don't you? It's hard for me to express what I'm feeling right now. As you all know, with Charlie and Dave and Franny and Dan and me, Zim's still getting there. Announcers are never short on words. But it's a moment that I've thought about, wondered what it would be like. I guess the only... hi, everybody over in the club, by the way. Good to see you guys. I thought about what this would be like, and I'm okay with this not being on the field. This is kind of more intimate. I can see all your faces and everything, and it's just so gratifying. And I want to thank the Lerner family. Hi, Marla, Deborah, Ed, Judy, and Mark. We found out on a road trip to Phoenix a long, long time ago, as we were sitting around the pool with your great friends, Stuart and Kathy, that we were all the same age. We were all born in this, not you guys, but we were all born in the same year. Kathy Miller and I actually had the same birthday, the same day. And I just feel like it's something that I never envisioned, that I would actually be friends with the people who owned my Major League Baseball team. But to be able to say that and to be on the golf course a time or two with you, Mark, it's just been fantastic. Alan and Roxanne, the Gottliebs, I will never forget, Alan, you coming upstairs during Winterfest. I think it was around 19, 18 maybe, and you had heard me doing some Q&A with the fans, and I said that these 13 years had been the greatest years of my broadcast career. And you came up and gave me a big hug and said that meant a lot to you, and we both had tears in our eyes. And I'm like, this is really special. And I really want to thank Mark and Alan, because we started having these conversations about 5 years ago about how I was going to handle all of this, and you let me and her reduce my schedule. You let us go out on our own terms, and that is something for which we will be eternally grateful. Thank you so much. I want to salute the entire organization, all of our players, from this guy who I got to see his entire career. I used to tell Ryan I was going to retire when he did. Well, then he retired too early, so I couldn't. But Ryan, to see your entire career was just amazing. And all the players and the coaches, all of the guys we've been friends with over the years. For Dan and Franny, my good buddies, and my broadcast partners along the way, there have been a few. Tom Paciorek, the late Don Sutton, Rob Dibble, Ray Knight, F.P. Santangelo, and again, Franny, with some Justin Maxwell and Daniel Murphy and Denard Span and some other guys sprinkled in. It's just been so much fun. I ushered at the ballpark in St. Louis all through high school and college. We were paid $12 a game, and it was there when I fell in love with baseball after my sister got a job with the Cardinals in 1967. And I hope they can hear me out in the ballpark. I know what it's like to be a stadium employee as an usher and helping people find their way to their seats. Back in the day, there were some Cub fans who were kind of obnoxious. I would send them all the way around the stadium because it was a circle before they could find their seats. But I just, for those of you in the ballpark who might be listening, if you can give a little shout out to our ballpark employees. They're here every day for us. I feel like I'm one of them, and I appreciate everything that they do. My most thanks goes to our Nationals fans, and as the announcer would say, more on that in a moment. My family is here. My sister Mary, who came from Greece to be here. My sister Judy and her husband John, not able to make it from St. Louis, but Judy was my mentor, 52 years for the Cardinals, and taught myself and Harolyn. I saw you sneak in, Harolyn. There you are. A great Nationals lady for many years. She was our mentor in so many ways. My sister Kathy, here from the Dallas area. Her daughter Mary Ellen, my niece. My daughter Katie. I call Katie my baseball kid. She used to sit next to me when she was 7, 8 years old in the broadcast booth and not move a muscle for 3 hours. My daughter Allison, who was the wiggly one, she had to get out of the booth. And her husband Ryan, and our two grandsons James and Ben. And to be able to have family here is unbelievable. Mostly, there was a young lady who grew up in Las Vegas who I met, and we met through some mutual friends in Tulsa, And she met a street kid who was trying to make it as a young broadcaster. She loved him. She encouraged him. She chipped away at a lot of the rough edges, taught him how to treat people, love people, and help people. Would you recognize my wife, Debbie? She really, along with any God-given talent I might have, she is the reason that I'm standing here right now. She's the love of my life. My friends out in the ballpark, you are the love of my baseball life. Our Nats fans. I got here 20 years ago, and it took a while for you to get used to me being from the Midwest. And quite honestly, took a little while for me to get used to you as well. But we've become to, at least to me, to feel like we're close baseball friends. And I hope the feeling is mutual. It had better be, since you've invited me into your home so many times throughout the years. My goal as we signed off after every game was to make you glad and proud that you're a Nats baseball fan, win or lose. We've had our ups and downs. We've been through a lot together. There's one thing we will always share, and those are the memories we experienced together, because baseball is a game of memories. We had the heartbreaking playoff series in 12, 14, 16, and 17. But then, and Charlie told me about this, people were coming through the turnstiles in 05 for the first game, and they had tears in their eyes. DC had been without baseball for more than 3 decades. And then we open a new ballpark 2 years later, and this guy hits a walk-off homer to send the Braves, see ya. And Ryan, he had already established his reputation as Mr. Walk-Off. Then we had Bryce. Then we had Jordan in his no-hitter. Then we had Max, 2 no-hitters in the 20 strikeout game in 16. Suzuki's walk-off homer when Kurt broke the hearts of the Mets, who had just broken our hearts in the top of the 9th inning. And then on to the playoffs when Juan cleared the bases to win the wild card game, when Howie hit the grand slam to beat the Dodgers, when the Nats swept the Cardinals to win the pennant, when Ryan hit our first World Series home run, when Howie hit the fair pole to beat the Astros, Dave on the call on radio, and then when Steven, Max, Patrick, and Anibal were unstoppable. You don't need last names, do you? Sean, Daniel, and the bullpen immovable. Steven voted MVP, and the Nats danced on the field in Houston as World Series champions. It was indeed improbable what happened in 2019. I also want to recognize in the third row here my Masson guys. So good to see all of you. Thanks for making the trip down from Baltimore. Masson has been so good to Debbie and I for 20 years, and also our former executive producer, Chris Glass, instrumental in some of my early days here. Finally, those are the images. Ball players, home runs, great plays I will never forget. But my highest honor has been spending time with our Nats fans from our lofty booth 288 feet above here, living and dying with you as our Nationals have battled to the last out. Thank you for these memories. If this is goodbye, I will miss you all so much. But maybe it's not goodbye. Maybe it's simply, can you say it with me? See you later.